Here once the embattled farmer stood, and fired the shot heard round the world. You can imagine me impersonating Henry David Thoreau, who was one of the pickup choir when the hymn was sung in 1837.
The Concord Hymn. By the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. Here once the embattled farmer stood, and fired the shot heard round the world. The foe long since in silence slept, alike the conqueror silent sleeps, and time the ruined bridge has swept down the dark stream which seaward creeps. On this green bank, by this soft stream, we set today a votive stone, that memory may their deed redeem, when, like our sires, our sons are gone. Spirit that made those heroes dare to die and leave their children free, bid time and nature gently spare the shaft we raise to them and thee.
Here we stand on the opposite side of Concord River from the Old Manse, by the side of the second monument to the Concord Battle that was planned 50 years later. Sculpture of a heroic Minuteman by Daniel Chester French, who was the most famous sculptor in Concord history, also responsible for the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The first stanza of Emerson's Concord Hymn is inscribed on this monument, and it gives us a chance to think about what that whole poem means, the significance of it. When Emerson wrote Concord Hymn in 1837 and referred to the embattled farmers standing their ground and firing the shot heard round the world, he was choosing his words very carefully. For one thing, he was making clear that the Minutemen were on the defensive, then that they were not professional soldiers, they were farmers. And to use embattled farmers as the term, it's nostalgic. It conjures up a bygone time.
A pastoral.
Yes, 50 years before. Agriculture was starting to move west in Emerson's day. Concord was becoming a suburb. So it's very traditional to use the language that Emerson did. And of course, to say that the shot fired was heard round the world took into account the impact of the American Revolution throughout the world in the 50 years since then. This was the tail end of the Age of Revolution.
You know, listening to you, I can see more clearly how the very local quality of the first two lines, by the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. We're in a particular place, we're in a particular season, we're among a very local group, as you say, of just farmers, and fired the shot heard round the world makes this spot a place of world historical importance.
That's right. These pickup amateurs,
exactly,
in very humble circumstances, knocked out the greatest imperial power on the globe.
Mm-hmm. That's, yeah.
And it's a world spirit that's making them do it, right? The last stanza says, spirit that made those heroes dare to die and leave their children free. They're in the world, but they're also acting as part of the world. They're a flashpoint.
And there's a kind of, if I understand you, there's a kind of competition between between worlds, right? Between
Yeah.
world political powers that would rule the globe, colonial powers that would hold and dominate lands far off, and a spirit superior to those powers. And Emerson seems to be saying, as you point out, that that these farmers were animated by that higher spirit.
At the end, the poem steps back from any moment in time and becomes hugely panoramic and cosmic, imagining the long time of the sires to the sons and into the infinite future. For all that length of time, this monument will stand as a votive offering. So any one generation is transient, but in the long, infinitely long time of history, this moment will endure in this monument.
I want to return to the lines you just invoked. On this green bank by this soft stream, and it's nice the way that line is divided, is slowed by those monosyllables. On this green bank by this soft stream. So one feels the ceremonial, even ritual quality in a Protestant town that may,
Yes.
but one feels that there's an act of real commemoration occurring.
Indeed. But note the sensitivity to landscape detail between the flood and the soft stream. The rude flood is how it would have looked in April when the battle took place, just after the snows melted. The soft stream is how it would have been in July when the poem was sung.
Oh, that's so beautiful that this poem, whose language can seem to us, to contemporary people, a little off-putting, that if we listen very carefully to it, we can hear the difference between the stream in July, with scarcely a current, as Hawthorne pointed out, and that more turbulent stream of earlier in the year.